Thank you so much for joining us today on the Brown Dad, the chai tea naan bread edition. It's finally we're getting to do this in person. Imran, it's good to see you. Right? We're doing this COVID friendly. We did get our COVID tests. I should have brought in the COVID tests.
No, it's like
yeah. But good thing is I'm COVID negative.
Sorry.
Yeah.
If you're in Ontario, anybody, go to your local pharmacy and just ask for a rapid antigen test. They just hand it over to you. Right. So if you're in Ontario, that's what I did. I called one pharmacy by my house. They didn't have it. I called another one. I went over, literally said, I'm here for my rapid antigen test. It's a pack of 5.
Right.
And they just give it to you, man.
Yeah, it's great, right?
It's amazing because March break is coming up,
right?
And then you want to meet your family and stuff. So
crazy.
Every area has it. You can test it. So yeah, if you're in Ontario, guys, that's that.
Yeah.
But how you been, man?
Good, man. It's good to see you. Yeah, like finally we get to do this in person, right? Like hopefully we can do more of these, But I'm glad we could finally meet up in person, and we decided we're going to chat about a couple of things. Obviously, some controversial topics. Lots of stuff going on globally, right?
A lot of stuff. Since last time we did this, a lot has gone down.
Yeah.
So we'll just try to skim the top 2 or top 3.
Right.
So yeah.
Stuff that's coming up. I've not really kept up too much with it because I've been busy with trying to keep up with being a content creator on the Brown Dad, and I leave the current event stuff to you, right? But I mean, for our viewers, there's a global change happening with this truckers convoy thing that initiated actually right here in Ontario.
Yeah.
Not in Canada.
In Canada.
Right.
It came from the West.
Right. And then, we've got a very direct impact here in Ontario because we actually have one of the largest trade borders with the U.S. right out of Windsor, right, Detroit.
So quick backstory about this. It's the truckers convoy, dubbed the Freedom Convoy.
Right.
Started out in the West.
Right.
So it started off because the Canadian government, and you heard this, truckers, if they were unvaccinated coming through from the U.S.,
right,
you had to, if you were not vaccinated, you had to quarantine for 14 days.
Right.
So it started off as an opposition to that.
Right.
But then once it started, by the time it started out west, by the time it came to Ottawa, everybody and anybody hopped onto it.
Right.
So now you have the who's who of every other movement.
Right.
So that's my take on it.
Right.
So it's no longer a truckers protest.
Right.
It's something that's evolved much more bigger.
Right. It's all these other people kind of bringing their own agendas and and latching onto it. And
I really feel bad for the foot soldiers.
Right.
And when I mean the foot soldiers are the people who are on the ground, or people who actually started this convoy.
Right.
The truckers.
Right.
Don't get me wrong.
Right.
15% of the truckers in Canada.
Right.
Of the whole trucking industry, 15%.
Right.
Forget 15%. I'll give you another 10. Take it.
Right.
25% of the truckers are unvaccinated. So these border mandates.
Well, according to the stats, about 15%. He's just giving them luxury.
I'm giving them luxury of plus 10.
Right.
Because everything with this movement is hyperbole.
Right.
3 million people, 50,000 trucks.
Right.
So official numbers are 15. I'll give them 25.
Right.
Only 25% people of the whole trucking industry are unvaccinated.
Right.
So these guys are like, you gotta bend my industry rules to my will.
Right.
Because of this.
Right.
So this movement has gotten bigger because now everybody knows Chris Sky.
Right.
What's going on, Freedom Fighters? We have an SOS from Windsor. We have a massive convoy on the Ambassador Bridge, and they need all available patriots, all available freedom fighters, cars, trucks, bodies. Get to the Ambassador Bridge and help out any way you can.
Within like 4 or 5 hours, the Ambassador Bridge was blocked.
Right.
A guy called Chris Guy from Ontario tweets out into tourist sphere, into the social media sphere.
Right.
Guys, go and block the border Windsor, Ambassador Bridge. And for people who don't know, Ambassador Bridge, 25% of all trade. And
with the U.S.
With the U.S. And this is factual. This is not my opinion. This is a fact.
Right.
25%
of all trade
between U.S. and Canada. That's a big chunk.
Right.
Comes through that bridge.
It's a big economic hit, right? Like, I mean, it's one thing that the province takes a hit. It's a different thing that the country also now takes a hit, right? The locality is also affected, and I mean, there's definitely a thing, and as you said, right? Personally, I'm all for rights, and I definitely stand by the fact that, you know, we have to do what is right for whatever it is, but at the same time, peaceful protest where you're not inconveniencing the rest of the world, right, or the rest of the rest of society to a point where it is disruptive, right?
And that's the thing too, right? Where now it's disrupting people,
right?
It's like, yeah, I feel for it. They're Canadians. I'm a Canadian. They're
right.
like they're my brethren,
right?
But the people around,
right?
Like people who are living in Windsor.
Right.
In Windsor, we've been to Windsor so many times, right? Shout out to my University of Windsor people,
right?
So it's literally you have student housing on one side,
right?
Then you got the McDonald's, and just beside the McDonald's is a whole community of people,
right?
Houses,
right?
And we've been to those houses because our good friends lived in Windsor, and we know Windsor very well. This is why I say. And on the other side, they have grocery stores.
Correct.
It's so much inconvenience of people living there.
Right. And it is definitely an inconvenience, right? And that's the bigger thing. I mean, to me, I definitely, as I said, from that personal freedom perspective, I do support the freedom portion of things, but that inconvenience and now becoming an economic inconvenience for as long as it has, so much so that we've now policing has had to come in, I believe.
Policing like RCMP,
right?
OPP,
right?
Police from like different jurisdictions,
right?
Police who are just like voluntary force. They've been called up to say, hey, listen,
right?
Because there's orders. Because when you go to, and you guys can go to any cop station, you can literally just walk in and just say hi and walk out. As a tax-paying citizen, we can do this, and that's the beauty of this country.
Right.
So you do that, and then when you go in, you'll see like cops sitting and doing desk jobs. So now what? And there's an auxiliary force.
Right.
So the auxiliary people, because I work with a guy who was in the auxiliary police force.
Right.
He got a notification from his division saying, "Be prepared to deploy."
Right.
He's not going to be thrown in. He'll be thrown in to do the desk duty. Desk duty will go here. This guy will go here, and then you'll get like.
Everyone's being bumped up, right? Because I mean, it's all hands on deck to manage a crisis situation.
And at the same time, you have the Ottawa rally that's been going on for like 16 days now.
Right.
They are asking for help as well.
Right.
These guys are getting overwhelmed.
Right.
Fredericton.
Right.
New Brunswick, Fredericton, and they have the harshest, and I get it. Right. And I will get to the point why it's so popular right now.
Right.
Fredericton, New Brunswick, they had a rights rally.
Right.
Niagara Falls border had a blockade.
Right.
Toronto had a blockade.
Right.
So I think like it's scary because at what point, and some of these people are saying that they're not going to back down.
Right.
So you are inviting the army on yourself, like if this is what freedom looks like, where so much chaos.
Right.
Freedom of protest, I get it.
Right.
Protest all you want.
Right.
Who inspired Parliament?
But this becomes anarchy, right?
This
if
this is what freedom looks like, exactly. Thank you. If this is what freedom looks like, where this small percentage of people, and I get it. People are saying like, yo, it's like 10 million people.
Right.
When the Ottawa convoy started, they're like, yo, there's 1 million people in Ottawa.
Right.
You know what? Shits and giggles, I'll give you 3 million. Take it. Take it.
Right.
Take 5 million.
Right.
We're a country of 35 million.
Right.
It's still a minority.
Right.
And I said like before too, I feel bad for the truckers.
Right.
Who started this off.
Right.
With the right intentions.
Right.
But had this scratched the surface just a bit, they would have known the players behind it. And the players behind it are the who's who of the most racist, bigoted organizations in Canada.
Right.
I'm talking about Soldiers of Odin. I'm talking about your 3%.
Right.
I'm talking about guys like Tom Quiggin.
Right.
Tom Quiggin is providing national security for this movement.
Right.
He's on the ground in Ottawa. A guy called Tom Quiggin, and you can Google this.
Right.
And when you Google it, first things will be like he used to provide service for the Canadian government.
Right.
Which he did, but that's his leverage.
Right.
Okay? Right. He wrote a book. He wrote a novel where he's openly fantasizing that some guy is assassinating Justin Trudeau.
Right. And it's inciting hate, right? Like I mean, that's
I get the message where it's like, yo, mandate free. I hate lockdowns. I'm not advocating people. I hate, bro.
Right.
You know.
I mean, we've not been able to meet.
He's my brother. He's my brother. I've known this guy for 23, 24 years, and I haven't been to his house. I haven't seen his daughter grow. Like, I hate lockdowns.
Right, right.
But you'll never catch me doing this dumb whatever. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because at the end, and I say this thing too. I think the truckers kind of like.
You're obviously very passionate about
I'm
it,
very
right?
passionate. I'm sorry, guys. I'm very passionate, and I say this because in an alternate reality, like I would be doing like public policy,
right,
like government issues.
Right.
You know, like I did CBSE, so you guys know, like social studies is like history, geography, and civics.
Right.
There might have been one more.
Economics.
Economics. There you go. I knew, and it will always be like out of 20 questions, the first 8 would be like history.
Right.
The next 6 would be like geography.
Right.
And you'd get like 3 or 2 civics and economics.
Right.
And civics was the most. I always loved civics.
Right.
And geography.
Right.
Right. But so I'm very passionate about this topic.
Right.
But what I was trying to say was, I think the truckers, they kind of shot themselves in the foot because when they first arrived to Ottawa, what they did was they sent the government a pseudo-legal thing, like the manifesto.
Right.
Right. And one of the demands was that Justin Trudeau should leave a vacate office, and a new government brought in. That was one of the demands among the other demands.
Right.
It was a hastily done document.
Right.
But now, when you get that as a leader of the country, you can't I'm not advocating Justin Trudeau, right? I dislike all politicians. Right. But as a leader of the country, if you get a manifesto like that and it says, "Yo, you're gonna kick me," you know what I mean?
Right.
He's not going to come out and say, "Yeah, let's sit down and have a chat."
Right.
No.
Right.
You've lost that. You've lost that leverage.
Right.
This is to a democratically elected government.
Correct.
He just got elected into power like 3 months ago.
Right.
Or like just literally in October.
Right.
You can't show up to the door and be like, "Yo, you need to leave." Like, no, this is democracy.
Right. That's part of what that's the price you pay for democracy.
Exactly, right? And then the way you said, like,
that's exactly what it is.
If this is what freedom looks like.
Brown dad.
Yeah, sorry.
It happens, you know.
Yeah. No,
that's
it's my good friend, like Ryan. Yeah. So let me call him.
It's crazy. Having to deal with communication in the middle of it.
yeah. But it's good. Yeah. So those are my feelings.
Yeah.
Right. And you already saw, like, in Ambassador Bridge now, I haven't seen, like, they have snipers there. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I don't want this. These are my, as I said, these are fellow Canadians. These are my brethren. Right. I don't want this.
Right.
And I think such an automatic rise.
Right.
It's so easy to tap into.
Right.
Because populism.
Right.
Where you tap into that sentiment. Populism is what brought Donald Trump to the power. Right. Where you tap into that feeling where the middle class is like, it's deteriorating.
Right.
Everything around you is going, and everyone above you is doing more and more thing.
Right.
Whereas that feeling is gone, like, you know, and even through history, Nazism.
Right.
That's how it became it was a fringe movement. It was a very fringe movement.
Right.
But it was right after the Great Depression.
Right.
Things were not looking right for Germany.
Right.
They had this. So sanctions, right? So the youth was so disenchanted, the population was disenchanted.
Right.
And then the Nazi Party comes along.
Right.
It's like,
and they give them purpose, right?
We give them purpose. Like, we're gonna get back. We're gonna bring Germany. We're gonna make Germany better.
Yeah. Make Germany great again.
Make America great again. Make Canada great again.
Right.
And you tap into those feelings. And Steve Bannon, who was the architect for Trump's rise to the White House, he did a talk in Toronto, and I just read this today, where there was a discussion, and he mentioned that populism will give rise because populism it's easy, right, and that's exactly what's happening,
yeah, because you tap into that sentiment, right? Like
I hate lockdowns, right? As I said, like I don't like lockdowns.
And I mean, this is then taking us, like, you know, globally, because I mean, recently I believe there was an article that there was a girl with a hijab in
India, Karnataka.
Right.
So it's funny. It's not funny. It's such a coincidence. You mentioned that. Like my sister-in-law.
Yeah.
In my family group, she just sent me a forward.
Right.
She sent us a forward.
Right.
The Karnataka hijab ban.
Right.
And brought from India.
The
Orange
Indian
is
diaspora, right?
Orange is associated with the BJP,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And yeah, and she's being accosted. All she's doing is to hand in her assignment.
Right. Right.
She's wearing a hijab,
Right.
right? And so we'll get into that thing. I don't want to speak too much on it because I don't know about it that much.
Right.
But I've seen it from my wife's cousins,
Right.
right? I've seen them on their Insta stories, and as I said, my sister-in-law just sent me forward.
Definitely challenging times. I mean, globally, right? Everyone's got their own agendas. They're pushing it, and then the fact that they're doing it forcibly. To me, I mean, we've obviously grown up here. We've seen so much democracy and freedom, and we believe that one of the things being Canadian is celebrating that, right? And celebrating it freely, without infringing on other people's freedoms. That's kind of
and that's my thing, right? Like,
Right.
and I agree. You want to protest,
Right.
regardless of how fringe it is.
Right.
Like Queen Diddle, I didn't
Right.
even know, and she's a QAnon cult.
Right.
If she wants to bring her army out
Right.
every Saturday
right,
to the legislature,
Right.
Queens,
right.
I don't care.
And that's fair, right? Because now you're not
That's it.
inconveniencing the people that are not
Exactly.
that are not going to hear
And
your
you know what's
call,
the thing?
right?
The Sri Lankans did it first. They
Right.
blocked the gardener,
Right,
right? Sri Lankan Tamils. Shout out to my Sri Lankan community. One of my best friends is Sri Lankan.
right.
Yeah.
Check out his interview.
Yeah.
It'll be coming up.
Exactly, his interview will be coming up. Such a Vigneraj, Mark and do. Yeah, and I love it, right?
Yeah.
But they blocked it because they were protesting for their cause back home
Right.
in Sri Lanka.
Right,
They did it for maybe 2 hours.
right,
And everybody were like, yo, get it off.
Right.
Everybody in the community,
Right.
no matter what race,
Right.
everyone was like, yo, this is wrong.
right,
They did it for 2 hours.
right,
Just last year,
right,
the trucker, in the trucking industry,
right,
they protested with
Right.
dump trucks. Also dump trucks,
Yeah.
they have this new legislation.
right,
I'm not sure what the legislation was, but they took out a convoy.
right,
That was the original trucking convoy, by the way,
right,
right?
right,
And they protested, you know where? Where the way, when you go on the highway 401, you'll see like those way stations.
right, right,
Yeah, they protested over there.
right,
You know what the governments did? They're like, yo, the police, they're like, we're gonna suspend your trucking license,
right,
and they put some sanctions if you
Right.
don't leave.
right,
They left in the
Right.
same day.
right.
So that's why when,
But was that inconveniencing people?
you know who
with
was inconveniencing?
truckers?
Like truckers only.
Right,
That's it.
right, right,
This is in 3 weeks in Ottawa,
right,
right? And I have people in Ottawa.
right,
Right, I have family, like
Right.
my friend, right? And my brother went to, he spent a
Right.
couple of years in Ottawa for
Right.
university.
right,
I'm well versed with that. And
Right.
it's a community, it's like
Right.
condos.
Right.
It's opposite Parliament, you've been there. It's
Right.
opposite
Right.
Parliament Hill, right?
Yeah.
Rudio
Yeah.
Mall,
yeah,
right? The malls are closed because, these guys are the same people who are like,
yeah. It affects the whole economy, right? Like that's the big.
but
thing.
anyway,
Like
so sorry, I digress, but yeah, this will go long and long. And we gotta go get Ryan.
Yeah.
But before we go, I really want to touch another good thing. Lata Mangeshkar, man.
Yeah, it's been heartbreaking. Such a legend.
Yeah.
Over 30,000 songs, I believe.
36,000.
30,000 in 36 languages.
Wow.
Correct. But that was as of 1991, apparently. Supposedly there were some disputes with Muhammad Rafi.
Yeah,
I believe, right? Yeah, but I mean, now we're in 2022, and her passing away at this point in time, definitely a celebration, right?
And then, like, her songs, man, like, my grandmother listened to her.
Yeah.
My mom listened to her.
Right.
I listened to her.
Yeah.
And her career was like throughout
So diverse, right? Right. So
and the
diverse. Like,
longevity,
right.
right?
Not only that, like the melody and the ability to sing in so many different genres, right?
Yeah.
Like if you listen to like Rangila and that soundtrack where it's like so different with the vocals, and then you listen to something even older than that, and it's so different, and you wouldn't picture. I mean, I grew up in the Middle East, and obviously, like, we were sheltered in the sense that we didn't have access to too much media and things of that sort, right? And I didn't really see her face till many years later, right?
Yeah.
And I couldn't put that face to that voice, right? Like it blows your mind, and you definitely understand why she's nicknamed the Nightingale of India, right? Definitely a celebration. And she definitely had this different way around her where she spoke about her views on family. And you can check out that article because we've got this really interesting article about her views on the family too.
Yeah, right? I liked her quote.
Yeah.
Right, and as I wrote that article,
right.
I mentioned how we as South Asians,
right,
we are like, let's conform to society.
Right.
Right. That's it.
Right.
That's our thing. Where
Right.
where you grow up, you
Right.
you go to school,
Right.
you grow up,
Right.
you get married,
Right.
you have kids,
Right.
old, die.
Right. That's it.
That's your thing.
Right.
So that's your, if you and you deviate from that
Right.
thing,
Yeah. You're
timeline,
ostracized by society. Right?
Yeah, right. So in
Right.
that thing where the most celebrated, the whole country has come together for this, right?
Right.
And she was single.
Right. Right.
So
She died
that's-
single. Right. And her focus was to say self-fulfillment first, right? Before you can celebrate the joy of being with another person. Definitely.
Not shady records.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
on that note, my brother is here.
Yeah,
Thank you.
we'll just say bye to the viewers. Thank you so much for joining us again. Join us next time on Chai Tea Naan Bread. Have an awesome time, guys. Take care.